Are you guys ready?
Let's do this. Let's start the show.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? Episode 32, Three Amigos and a Podcast. Let's do this.
Dude, it's kind of like, you know when you're a kid and you watch like Full House or like, Boy Meets World or whatever it was, and they always have that one episode every season where they take a trip? It's like us this time.
This is our trip.
This is the trip episode.
This is the Vegas edition.
Everyone listening that doesn't know, we're going to Vegas tonight. When you listen to this tomorrow, we'll be in Vegas, blacked out drunk, on a golf course, hitting golf balls into the wind. I'm ready to go, dude. I'm so excited.
I'm so pumped.
I'm pumped, dude. I haven't taken a vacation in so long.
Dude, it's going to be good.
Sarah and I didn't take one last year.
overdue.
I'm overdue. Work this week has been shit.
It's a perfect time.
Perfect time, dude.
I don't know about you guys, but today went by really slow.
Oh,
So
yeah.
slow.
So the rain, dude, it was ironic because we woke up this morning and we went to the YMCA in La Jolla, and I'll tell you that story in a second. But we went there. We went to Swami's to have breakfast because we were going to have our meeting in Fallbrook for our last little like wedding.
Yeah, that's right.
thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that was all today. Like day has dragged ass. Like it's been so like long. But I was gonna tell you. So I was, you've worked at Balboa 24-Hour Fitness. I know you work at LA Fitness now. Or what?
Yeah, the LA
Workout.
Fitness. In
You're at LA
Mesa.
Fitness now?
Yeah, I go to the LA Fitness in Sorrento Valley right by my work.
Yeah. So I was
Sorrento
at
Valley.
it's called the Dan McKinney YMCA. It's in La Jolla. It's right next to my dad's work, actually, or
Okay.
on Torrey Pines, a little bit, closer to my house.
Yeah.
Took me 5 minutes to get there. I had no idea it was that close.
Wow.
Yeah, because you get off on the 52.
Oh,
You
yeah,
go-
it just like drops you right there.
Pretty much,
up
and
La
when
Jolla?
you're going down
Yeah.
the hill, you make
You
that
stay
little
to the
right,
right?
and then
Yeah.
it's three stop signs down, and you turn left, and it's right there. I realized I freaking hate windows in gyms.
Like,
I know
why?
that sounds odd,
Windows
but I
or
don't like
mirrors?
windows. I don't like seeing the outside world when I'm working out. I like the cave feel.
I'm not a-
That's a jail mentality. That's a very odd thing to
I
say.
know, that's what Shaylee was saying. She's like, what do you have, like prison mentality when you're working out? But think about it. Like Balboa, you don't see outside. Like there's obviously like windows up, like Mission Valley YMCA, we have the windows that are up. But like you're not...
That's very true. I never really thought about it. Yeah, there's not really
I didn't
windows.
realize it till I was in it today, and I was like, oh my God. Because like it's a all open concept, so you can see like down by the water.
Yeah. Well, you've been to 24-Hour Fitness. You've been to the UTC one before?
Yeah.
Have you worked out in that outside area? Like, do you like that feel or
Yeah,
no?
it's different though. I'm working out
Because that's
outside.
like, it's outside.
Yeah, like...
you just don't like the
'cause my old
the
gym-
top to bottom window.
Yeah, my old Gold's gym that I used to go to in Point Loma, we had the
Same.
outside gym,
Yeah.
and that was fine too. But again, like I never felt like there was outside looking in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
yeah.
if it's one way, I'm cool with it. But
is
it
it
is a
those
little
like
weird.
reflective
Yeah.
mirrors though? Like, can you see
that was
in?
the other thing. They didn't have like hardly any mirrors in the gym.
No,
and
but
was
I mean,
this
like,
is
if you're
weird.
outside the building, can you see
Yeah.
inside at the people? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
That's
If
the
it's,
weird
if
part.
it-
big. Like, dude, I'll have to take you there sometime. Like, it was
Yeah.
a beautiful gym. Like, I feel like it's more of a like spa than it is a gym.
yeah.
But
Of course, it's high end bougie La Jolla. So,
but it's a YMCA. I was like, what the? But anyways, it was Shaylee was like this. Like she's like, you're freaking weird. So she was texting her mom. She's like, yeah, Ryan like he hated this gym. Like I know you would love it. Ryan hated it. She's like, why did Ryan hate it? It's like, apparently he doesn't like wide open concept, gyms. And she's like, that's weird. And I was like, I'd never denied that it was weird. I fully agree with you.
It sounds weird when you say it, but then when I try to put myself in that situation, I'm like, that would make me uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, I can kind of see both sides.
I
where
just
like,
when I'm
yeah.
at the gym, I want that like mentality. If I'm in the gym, like this is.
Well, I don't
Hey.
want to. I don't want to turn around and see like people walking by outside.
You know what it was?
You know,
I
like
could
if
see-
we're in the gym, be in the gym.
to me,
I
that's a
wanna-
distraction.
Yeah.
See
That's
other
exactly-
people
that's what
looking
I
at you, you're like, I'm trying to work out
But
and
it
focus
is
on this.
upstairs. I will say that much. It's on the second floor. But that was the other thing. Like all the squat racks on a second floor, like all the deadlift areas. So anytime somebody dropped a weight, it echoed through the entire damn building.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know whose bright idea it was to put like squat racks and deadlift bars up on the second story. But,
yeah, you put all that on the bottom floor unless you got like... I don't know,
yeah. I mean, unless it's like
unless-
cement.
Yeah, cement.
That's I don't know. That's funny.
And then you get those like rubber pads to kind of soften the
Yeah,
landing.
no, none of that. It was weird, dude. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was so uncomfortable, and everybody that was like working out around me, like they had some interesting equipment, but I was telling Shaylee, I was like, they don't have a lat pull down machine here. What kind of establishment is this?
Yeah, that's kind of a
That's
staple.
a
That's a
staple.
staple.
I came here
That
to
is
do
a staple.
That's what separates a home gym from a real gym.
Yep.
Is that kind of
Yeah,
equipment.
Like the
you
cable,
know, the
lat
cable
pull down. Yep.
Yeah, that's the
what-
reason
that
why.
is
This-
literally the one thing I need on back day.
yeah.
At least it's not like a Choose Fitness where everything's like mounted and
Yeah,
you
that
can't.
sucks.
Yeah.
They did have something like Choose for their lat pull down thing, and that's what I meant. I was like, you don't have a standard lat pull down?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so
That's-
that
yeah,
was
that's
off
weird.
topic a little
That's-
bit, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
That was a weird I
Hey,
don't know,
we got to have
concept.
like a random,
random talking point.
random talking point every
yeah.
episode. So that's
Dude,
That's
I
a
will
random.
say we need to start drinking more because when we go to Vegas, like there can't not be alcohol
I
in your
heard that.
system.
Yeah, I was gonna...
Oh man.
Oh no, dude, I'm so like I did read that Hooters has dollar blackjack,
All right.
nice.
so that'll be fun.
I was saving my dollar bills for later.
What for?
Oh.
What would you do with $1 bills?
He said something about a peppermint rhino.
The penny slots. It's my
Oh.
favorite.
The
I
penny
love
slots,
I
I'm
love
sorry.
the slots. So I just I'm saving my bills for all the slots.
he's
and that's-
a slot guy.
I'm a real slot. You know what I think is hilarious is this is probably going to be our most listened to podcast because our girlfriends are going to be like, "What are they talking about? What are they going to go do?"
100%. You're totally right.
Totally. Dude, you guys got that text the other day? We had over 100 downloads in a
dude,
day. Dude, I
Hey.
saw it. I was like, that's ridiculous.
I'm not gonna lie though, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't say that you were gonna save your pennies for the loose slots.
Sorry, I missed it. That
was
was a layup.
Yeah.
I missed
That
it.
was the layup.
Dang it.
You were so close.
Gave
and
him
I
an
was like,
open look at
I
the
was like,
at the rim, and he didn't.
I know, like
capitalize.
he's so close. Like I feel like he's gonna say it, and it didn't happen.
Didn't get it.
Well, for all those listeners, just keep out there listening, and
Yeah,
we
dude.
appreciate
Like
it.
our downloads have gone up. We average like 37 a day now.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
It's crazy. We are 22 away from 1,000 downloads across.
I don't even know 1,000 people. That's what's impressive.
That's what I'm saying. But 32 episodes, almost. This episode will get us to 1,000 episodes.
I was
or
just
1,000
thinking we
downloads.
should try to promote some of this on like some of the subreddits on Reddit for like Padres and all
a
of
good
our
point,
all
yeah.
of
when
our
Padre
teams.
season like really starts kicking into gear, like
Oh yeah,
it'll be good
it'll be
Yeah.
good to go. Yeah, I'm
Dude,
excited
because that's going to be the only thing that we're basically going to talk about.
Dude, we'll get into Padres later, but
I'm pumped.
I was
Padres, some
I was
baseball
hearing
stuff.
some stuff that kind of got me a little excited.
Yeah,
for Padres.
definitely. I'm excited to talk about Padres today.
Dude, so as you know, Enrique and Philly Phil have their podcast, the All Bad Podcast.
Yeah,
I'm a frequent listener because I like to listen to podcasts when I'm doing stuff, like when working at the house. I just like noise, I don't really like music, kind of. I just want to hear conversation.
they're like our little brother podcast.
Exactly. Well,
Number 4 podcast.
when
in
you're
San Diego,
at number
right?
1 and you like look down at the number 4 in San Diego, you got to just support the little guys as best you can.
Hey,
So yeah, I was listening
gotta
this
look
week,
out for the little brothers.
and they were talking about how like they're really good at beer pong, like all this stuff, like Enrique's the best or whatever it is, you know what I mean? So I think that how we had our hang challenge, we should send out a challenge
Oh,
for
beer pong challenge? Absolutely.
We'll
So
do
in.
us 3 versus him and Philly.
I
They
don't-
can have James.
I don't know if what we should do
Yeah.
is we should do a 3-on-3.
That's what I was thinking.
Big, like I'm talking
Big
like
beer
20,
pong.
20
Yeah.
cup beer pong
Yeah.
each
Or we
side.
could do like a tournament style where it's like the best of 7 or something like that.
But then we'd
or
have to
best
mix
of
up
5.
teams, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
No,
like
I
you
think
and
3-on-3
Ryan
you-
and me and you.
I
and
mean,
then-
yeah,
I think 3-on-3 with a 20 cup table would be pretty good.
I think so
I
too.
still think you'd clear it up pretty quickly, but
I'm sure.
I'm sure, but I mean,
It
so
would
what, you want to
take-
do
It
more?
would take a while though.
I will do more.
I will say this:
Just
I,
saying, like-
I
And
would
we-
certainly love to make sure that
Well, we could do 3-on-3,
This is-
20 cup,
I was gonna say
7 round, best of
so
7.
Let me throw this out here as an option real quick.
All right.
Let's go 20 cup each side, 3-on-3.
Okay.
No bullshit. So no bouncing,
Mhm.
no behind the backs,
mhm.
just ball and cup the whole time.
So no heating up,
No heating ups, no,
no same
fires,
cup,
no
nothing.
islands, no.
island,
whoever-
same cup,
whoever
whatever,
clears
balls
first.
back, all that.
And we're
Okay.
and we're playing wrist Because I feel like
Well,
if we
I mean,
don't
it depends on
establish
the-
this up front, I know James.
It depends on the table. Like, we can't just say, like, no wrist, and then we play on a 10-foot pool
Ideally,
table.
we would say
you know?
wrist, but like we got to fit 20 cups on a table. But that would be my challenge to them.
If we're on a
20
standard 6-foot table, then we're going,
Yeah.
like, fingertips.
Yeah, 20,
Yeah.
20 cups though each side, and just clearing the cups. That's
I
all.
I want to establish that up front because I know one guy on the All
when
Bad
it-
podcast.
well,
who's
if
gonna,
they don't back down,
we know
and,
one guy
you know,
who loves
puss
to
out,
just stretch the
then-
rules to the max limit.
So Enrique, Philly, James,
got our
everyone over there
challenge.
at the All Bad podcast, this is our official challenge for us versus you, beer pong, 20 cup. Let's
no
go.
bullshit.
The
No
only one
bullshit.
I can. Brandon Zuniga, I feel like, is the only one I feel like would be a true gentleman when he's playing.
Well, that's because Smooth Jazz is a
Smooth
G.
Jazz.
You know? Smooth Jazz is the man. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I like our odds though. I like our chances.
We're gonna have to practice though.
Oh,
Dude, it's in
dude,
my blood.
come on,
It's in the blood.
It's beer
It's
pong.
gonna
You've
be like
played
the
it
movie
enough.
Competitive.
It's gonna be like the
nature,
movie
man.
Beer Fest. That you're gonna be like drinking a keg while on a treadmill. You know.
Well, you know, one of these weekends we'll have to get it going. Maybe next weekend, Sunday for conference championship games in the NFL.
No,
Well,
that'll
that's
be
this
Or that'll be this
Now,
weekend.
Pro
That'll
Bowl.
be Pro Bowl. Yeah, Pro Bowl is perfect. Nobody really watches the Pro Bowl. Do you guys like the Pro Bowl?
I hate the Pro Bowl.
I know we
but
went over this before about what's our favorite
All-Star game.
All-Star.
MLB All-Star
Yeah.
game, hands down.
Yeah. But the Pro Bowl, yeah. I
Yeah,
just
it's a
can't
joke.
stand it because now, like
the week
Philip
before
Rivers.
the Super Bowl.
But it's like Philip Rivers got invited to it, or like selected.
He never
opts
goes.
out. And then you
Yeah.
have all these other people that opt out.
Well, and then you got
know.
like guys like,
You got, like,
Tyler,
Ryan Tannehill.
Tyler Eifert. Remember he
Yeah.
had that injury that cost him the season, and then it was just there's no point in playing hard. So it's a bunch of guys playing flag football. Nobody gives
But
a crap.
it's like
and-
it used to mean something, to like be in
Yeah.
the Pro Bowl.
It's
And
the
now
prestige.
just-
It's the prestige of getting voted in.
But I think too now that they have the All-Pro team, that it just is irrelevant. Like somebody getting voted into the Pro Bowl, like isn't as important as somebody getting.
so
voted
what
into
is it?
All-Pro.
It's the Pro Bowl is the
Voted on by
fans,
fans.
and then the All Pro is the players and media.
There's a voters association for that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that one actually means more.
Yeah. So like Derwin James and Adrian Phillips were both maybe Adrian Phillips was. Desmond King was the other one though. Desmond King and Derwin James were actually voted on by
The committee.
the committee. Or I mean, it's media. I mean, essentially that's what it is.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I think NBA does that too.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect time. Then next weekend, All Bad Podcast. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Three Amigos versus All Bad Podcast. But let's get into it. We got a flight to catch in a little bit. NFL divisional round last weekend. Yeah, the Colts losing to the Chiefs. The Rams beating the Cowboys. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Ryan. The
It's all good,
Pats
man.
beating the Chargers again. And then you had the Saints, winning that tight game
Yeah.
against the Eagles.
I will. I'm gonna go ahead and say this for each one of these games. I mean, aside from Doug Peterson, who's won a Super Bowl, and that was the best game of the weekend that we saw there.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think that game. I mean, do you guys want to go in order? Or do you mind just going
well, I
right
just
into
meant,
this game?
From a quick standpoint, it just seemed to me like the coaches that have been there won. I mean, McVay, obviously, he's a young and up-and-coming coach.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, all of these, premier coaches, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, and Sean Payton, with a week off, they won. I mean, that to me, that's what it came down to across the board.
I mean, aside from probably the Chargers-Pats game, I felt like the better team won. And the Charger-Pat game was kind of like, it was borderline. They were pretty evenly matched.
Well, I feel like they were pretty evenly matched going into that game, but on the field, you could just tell the schemes were different.
If we're going to, I mean, we can go out of order on this one. For me, the Chargers game all came down to Gus Bradley's inability to change the game plan in motion.
Yeah.
Once they went down and scored on you twice right away, you were playing zone coverage the whole time.
You got to make a change.
You needed to make a change. Then they had that big turnover, already down by 21 points. That put them down by already down by 14 points.
Put them down by another
21.
Yeah.
Then there was you weren't coming back. I mean, you had one half of football to come 28 points back. Their defense played better in the second half, but that was not a second half adjustment that needed to be made. It was an in-game decision that you needed to get less pressure on Brady and more man-to-man coverage.
Well, we've seen this before. Brady performs well under pressure. If you bring the house on him, he gets the ball out quickly, and they make you pay in the secondary.
And that was like that Joey Bosa clip where he's like, "Stop throwing the ball so soon." He's like, "Stop getting to me so fast."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so the Chargers were getting to him fast, but he was just getting rid of the ball faster.
And that's the thing that I always I was giving Chargers the coaching staff props for this whole season is their ability to
Make
change
changes, yeah.
in game, like being able to see, re-scheme, get it, and deploy it out there. And I thought this game they just stuck with their guns. It honestly looked like they didn't know what to do after the Ravens game. Like they game planned so hard for that they couldn't go back because they ran a lot. Even still, they ran a lot of 7 DB sets.
I'm not going to make excuses for the Chargers. I think they just got overmatched in this game. I do think that they have a better team. Personnel,
yeah.
Better defense, but they have a young team as well, and that's the thing we keep forgetting. They have a very young team. This is a lot of these guys' first playoff game, and going in and playing Brady and Belichek, that's a tough, anytime.
Do you think it was a little bit of an inferiority complex where you just feel like this team owns us, and going into the game, maybe just losing it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so because it's like a different coaching staff that's been there besides all those other losses in the championship games. All the 7 losses before this one. It's a different coaching staff.
Yeah,
it's a lot of different personnel.
Different city, man.
I mean, it's
different city.
Rivers and Allen are one of the 2 of the people that are on that roster from the last time they're in the playoffs, and Gates.
Yeah.
But not to make excuses for them, but the Chargers have lost every single interior defensive player that they have. Jatavis Brown, Denzel Perryman.
The Perryman injury was what really crippled them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really feel that.
It forced them to go 7 DBs, which worked for the Ravens game because they had a good game plan. It didn't work against the Patriots because you had, safeties going up against, like Jaleel Dye and then
that was the other thing.
You looked at they were trying to tackle these running backs that were just running them over.
And that's the other thing, right? You look at everyone saying how Gronk had that one long catch. It was like a 40-yard catch where he was carrying 5 Chargers on his back.
Yeah.
To me, it was everything that he was doing off the ball. He was blocking. He was going against 3 guys.
Talking about Gronk here.
Yeah, Gronk run blocking 2-3 guys.
He's one of the better run blockers in the league.
You saw Melvin Ingram get lifted up. I mean, they were going Bosa and Ingram inside the majority of that game, and we talked about it last week. How they're fast and they're talented players, but we're talking about 2 dudes who, in most schemes, would probably be playing outside linebacker, going up against big-ass guards and tackles. And, I mean, the matchup, it didn't
was
work.
literally just speed versus size and size one.
Yeah. So, aside from that game...
Yeah, let's do this Colts-Chiefs game. That was the first game of the week. I think... Going into it, we all thought Chiefs, right?
Yeah,
I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
The only one we got wrong was the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't know. I really thought the Colts had a chance. They're another young team like the Chargers. New head coach in
Frank Reich.
Yeah.
Not that hot chocolate, no whipped cream.
He used to be a San Diego guy when Ryan was at Starbucks. He used to come in every day.
Him every day.
Gosh, I couldn't stand him when he was on the Chargers.
I don't know. I mean, he had one good year.
He was not good with the Chargers.
No, he had one good year. But he is a good head coach. I mean, he's a leader.
He was.
He was great with the Eagles last year.
I just think this came down to, the Chiefs having a week off and being able to see what the Colts executed well the previous week.
Yep.
Well, we know Andy Reid does well on bye weeks, too. So.
And, I mean, the other big thing is, everybody thought it was going to come down to the run game, and I was shocked that the Chiefs came out throwing as well as they did when it was snowing. So, I mean, they went for a lot of short passes. They weren't trying to chuck the ball down the field. And, again, the Colts didn't make adjustments until the second half. And at that point, it was too late.
Yep. Yeah.
This was arguably one of the worst weekends of playoffs.
I mean, the divisional round, it wasn't the same as last year. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Going into it, the matchups I thought were really good.
So did I.
But playing out, it just the Chiefs-Colts game was a blowout. Chargers-Pats game.
The one game that I thought was going to be a blowout was the Saints and Eagles, and that ended up being the best game of the bunch.
I agree.
We'll touch up on that one.
We'll do that one last because I got a lot of opinions on that one.
The Cowboys and Rams game, to me, again, this just comes down to Jason Garrett not executing as a coach in the playoffs.
Thank you for saying that.
I mean,
I agree.
Ezekiel Elliott had 20-something carries for 47 yards. Like, your running back is averaging 2 yards a carry, and yet you keep feeding him the ball. I mean, the Cowboys had opportunities to take the lead. They got out to an early lead, and their defense was playing all right. Once you get into a shootout, though, it's time to let go of the running game from a pure, here, we're going to line up 6 offensive linemen, and we're going to try to run it down your throat. Yeah. I mean, I've said it all year.
I think
Dominican Sue, Michael Brockers, and Aaron Donald, that is the scariest front, 3 in the NFL.
Defensive line, yeah. I honestly think that Jason Garrett listens to, the ESPN sports talk beforehand of, like, goals to win the game. Because if you looked at every single one of those guys that did a pregame show, they were like, give Zeke the ball, get your running game going, blah, blah, blah. And he just did not give up on that running game.
Give
it was
Zeke
like,
the ball,
but
throw it to him.
Exactly.
That was my thing.
Is like option. I don't know.
You're literally lining him up for failure every time that you had him step in front of Sue, Brockers, and Aaron Donald. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you gave up on the play action. You didn't allow Dak to make short, quick throws, which would have, helped soften up the defense. It was just a terribly called game, in my opinion. And I know, like, we talked about at the beginning of the year how Garrett was on the hot seat. Now, of course, he's not going to be, but I just don't see how you can keep this dude around when he has a team that can win. I mean, that defense was able to slow down the Rams' offense.
And I mean, the Chargers did it to Marty. It doesn't mean that just because they have a playoff team that you can't make a change.
If this team wants to start getting into, not necessarily Super Bowls, I don't think Dak is good enough to get them there.
He could be.
Well,
he's got potential.
Zeke is good enough to get you there.
But that's the thing is, like, I feel like Dak is so handcuffed from the head coach standpoint that we're not getting to see what he's completely able to do.
Yeah,
if you want an opportunity to play for an NFC Championship title, you need a new coach. He's never going to give you the opportunity.
Yeah. No.
And right now is the time to do it. The Giants are down. The Redskins are down. The Eagles had a great comeback. They're losing a lot of pieces. This is your time to really step up as a front runner in that division.
Yeah. Well, the last game of the weekend and the game that I wanted to, like, put my theory on was the Eagles and Saints game. A lot of people were saying the Saints aren't that good. They're probably not going to win this, like the Super Bowl. They, barely beat the Eagles. The Eagles were leading, a good majority of that game.
Who was saying that?
There's a lot of
people saying that. A lot of people are saying
the
that.
Saints have had some slow games, I would say. The last,
they've slowed down certainly.
But their defense has shown up more.
I think the only reason why this game was close was because nobody saw the Eagles winning that game against the Bears. I think going into the bye week, you know what I mean? You start your week off, you're like, okay. You look at this game and go, the Bears are going to win this easy. Let's start, game planning for the Bears. Halfway through your game plan, all of a sudden the Eagles win. You got to switch everything up.
All right. So I'm going to bring up a little talking point that I'd like to touch up on here. I was listening to 97.3. The Fan the other day, and Dan Cilio, those guys are talking about, who's the quarterback in Philadelphia.
I think I was listening to the same one.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But I do not see, I mean, obviously they're going to go with Wentz. I mean, I'll throw that out there right now. Wentz is their guy. He's their future. Dude, I would stick with Foles.
So this is my point on this. So I don't know if it was in the Cilio or if it was on ESPN or whatever it was, but Carson Wentz was diagnosed with like a broken vertebrae or whatever, a broken back. So who knows if he can even come back and play?
He might be out another year.
You know what I mean? Who knows how long he can play for? I think Foles had something like $17 or like a $7 million buyout on his contract for this last year. They could buy out his contract, franchise tag him. That gives them this year, and they can offer, to trade him to someone else. It's a good trading piece if Wentz does come back. But at the same time, it handcuffs him to your organization for another couple years instead of him trying to walk on you.
How old is Carson Wentz? You know how old he is?
Isn't he like 26 or something?
26 years old. How old is Nick Foles?
Right, 28?
30.
29. He's 29 years old, and everybody's treating him like he's 34-year-old quarterback that
he's still got life to him.
He's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, he came in young.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, this dude, he's a Super Bowl MVP. Let's not forget the first time he was on the Eagles, he had a crazy year. He
Yeah.
threw the 7 touchdowns in one game.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, if you
It was
surround
like
this
that
dude with the right weapons, get them a running back.
And have a good scheme around him.
Dude, I mean, I get it. You drafted
Yeah.
Wentz. He's your quarterback of the future. I understand it. Like, you can't give up on that. But Nick Foles is the only reason that this team has been playing as well as they have. These dudes that surround him, they play for him.
So this is like another leading in. I just thought of it. Like, is Eli Manning an elite quarterback to you guys?
No.
No,
I
but
don't
that
think Eli Manning has ever been an elite quarterback.
No,
in
but
my
that
opinion.
Giants team wins around him, or used to win around him. You know, so that's the difference. It's like Nick
picture,
Foles,
though,
they win around him.
Big picture, that team has always had huge defensive leaders, just like with Ray Lewis being on the Ravens.
Yeah.
But they did. They played for Eli.
yeah.
That was their guy.
And I think that's the difference with Wentz versus Foles. They
Carson
win
Wentz's style of play has already shown that he is not sustainable in this league. And it's shocking because he's a big dude.
It's sad to say,
Well,
though.
it's easy to forget, though, that he was an MVP candidate for most of last year.
I totally agree.
And I kind of agree with you. You've had success with Nick Foles as your quarterback, so it's certainly something you should consider.
I just don't know if I could let him walk out the door, man.
That's the big
and
thing.
That's why I think that they should franchise tag him so that they have a trading piece.
Because you're still paying Wentz like a lower threshold of what quarterbacks are making. And I get it. It handcuffs you to a player and it allows you to not sign other players. But you don't know what's going to happen with Carson Wentz. You don't know if he's going to be all right. And my thing is, like, if Nick Foles ends up going to a team like the Redskins or something, we're probably seeing the end of an era.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not going to be the same success that he's had. He plays well for the Eagles.
He's got to be in the right system.
I mean, and this dude was thinking about retirement 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been slowly but surely, like, just as I've watched the Eagles and I've seen it through the playoffs. I mean, obviously he threw 2 interceptions, one of them not necessarily his fault, but I mean, he's a better Alex Smith to me.
I agree.
He's a game manager, but he will stretch the field.
Yeah.
You know, Alex Smith.
He's got a big arm.
Yeah, he does. But, you know, he sticks with the game plan. He reads the defense properly. He doesn't make throws that are unnecessary. You know, like I said, obviously, you know, he had a couple big interceptions this playoffs, but
I mean, and it's hard as hell to make Philly happy.
But this
and
dude
somehow
could
he
play
does.
for you for the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
He's been healthy.
Yeah.
I don't
He's been
know,
healthy.
Man. Like,
he's not a risk. He doesn't.
I get like I said, I get it. Like Carson Wentz is your guy, but like
I see no problem with rewarding somebody who is the first person to ever give you a championship, and that's something that you should reward your players for winning for you.
And you watch this team come around him as soon as Carson Wentz went out. I love Carson Wentz. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, and if he can come back and be healthy, that's great. But to me, if I'm the Eagles, and again, I know this isn't happening, I'm using Wentz as the trading piece.
I was just going to say, they could probably get a pretty good return for Wentz.
I don't know. You know what's is weird too, and I'm not saying that this would ever work or I would be a fan of this, but there's something to say about like a quarterback that plays your full season and then a quarterback that wins in the postseason. It's almost like if you have that 1-2 combo, because you look at Alabama beforehand with Jalen Hurts and then
Nick
Tua
Foles
comes
got
in.
them there because the Eagles were not in the playoffs.
They were struggling.
Yeah, that's true.
But like last year,
last year, you know what I mean? It's like kind of the same. It's
dude,
I don't know. It's
like,
weird to say, but
that team gets hot when Nick Foles is in. But it's the same thing. Back with Tebow, how well did the Broncos play with Tim Tebow under center versus Kyle Orton?
And that's the other thing too. Like we said, with the system, the coaches can call different plays. They can do different things, move different pieces around. It's the quarterback that you have in place that allows you to do that stuff, and he seems to fit the system. So,
and if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't drop that ball and Lattimore doesn't pick it off, we might be talking about the Eagles and the Rams playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but I definitely don't think it would have happened. Conference championship this weekend. We will be sitting in the MGM Grand watching these games.
We're going to put some money on these games.
So we've come up with a deal or a pact. Is it pact or
Wolf Pack?
But you know, like you make a pack. Is it a pact?
It's pact. P-A-C-T.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a pact that we all pick the same divisional winners going into the
So
Super
that way
Bowl.
we're all happy at the same time.
cheering
And if
for
we
the
lose,
conference winners.
and if
yeah.
we lose,
We lose together.
we lose together, and if we win,
We're all happy.
We're all happy.
Because we are the
Three
Three
Amigos
in
in
a
a
podcast, and there will be some
all right.
So,
elders there.
so the first game we have is what we got: the Rams and Saints. Both these games are so tough to pick for me.
This is a game.
I'm honestly
I've been
leaning
looking
towards
forward
the
to.
Rams, though.
Go
It's
ahead.
so, dude, honestly, like, I could flip a coin. I'd be happy with either decision.
I
Yes.
agree with that, but to me, the deal breaker is Drew Brees. That's who I look at. I look at a quarterback who has been there, done that, and that's the reason why I would lean more towards the Saints. However, if I'm looking at the team from as a whole,
So that's a perfect.
I'm
opinion.
looking at the Rams. You know,
So let's go into that because we made a decision last week that the Chargers were going to win based off the overall team.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing with the Rams is the fact that you could tell that Jared Goff still has his training wheels on. Like McVay
Yeah.
is not letting that dude take control of that offense. And to me, in game situations, in playoffs where it's coming down to the wire, the good players make the decision on the field and they make the right decision.
Well,
You can't see, as a coach, you can only do and see so much.
yeah. So before we get, my pick is you guys both said Rams.
no, I picked Saints.
Oh, you picked Saints. I'm picking Saints as well.
Cool. So we're going
Only,
Saints.
only because it's in the dome. I think you listen to every single player talk about how hard it is to play in New Orleans. Like I think that the Saints.
My biggest thing though is like I want to see, and I know like my sister's probably gonna kill me for saying this. I want to see Breeze and Brady play in the Super Bowl.
Same.
That would be pretty awesome.
That like if
Yeah.
I have to watch the Rams and Chiefs play each other in the Super Bowl, I'll probably not watch the game. That would piss me off so much because that means
We already
football
saw
is
that.
officially turned into arena ball,
Yeah.
where defense means nothing.
So I want to touch on your point. I just want to get my pick out there, but I want to touch on your point about how McVay doesn't let Goff have the offense. And I think it's a great point because great quarterbacks know how to get up to the line, see something that they don't like, and audible out. Now, do you guys know what the rule is with the microphone in the helmet? When do they get to stop
It's
talking?
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
After
it cuts
15
off.
seconds, yep.
It cuts off. So that's the problem right there.
In the
because
Superdome, yeah, absolutely.
it's like he gets up to the line, cuts off. He can't see. He doesn't hear what they're saying, what he can see.
You listened to the same shit that I listened to the other day. I know you did.
No, I didn't
On the
listen to this
radio?
one.
Okay, I was listening. This guy was talking about it, and he was saying that the 15 seconds on the that was the only reason I knew that.
No, I didn't know. I
Yeah.
didn't know how long it was. That's why I was like, because I feel like that's the difference between him being elite and not elite. Is he gets up to the ball that that
I'm not
voice
ready to
shuts
call
off.
Jared Goff an elite quarterback.
No, but it's like that voice shuts off, and then all of a sudden you have to make that call on the field of like, oh, we got safeties dropping back. Let's run this ball up the middle, or 2-minute offense. What am I running here?
Yeah. So the one thing with the Rams is they do have Todd Gurley, best running back in the
Yeah.
league right now. But I actually favor the Saints in that aspect because they have the Kamara Ingram duo,
Little tandem.
which is two fresh Gurleys. I mean, you take both
Two
of them,
fresh girlies.
yeah, right? But if you take
Thought we were
both of
seeing
them,
them later at
they
the.
equal one Todd Gurley. So
Yeah,
you
no, I
can
know
give
what
the
you
ball
mean.
15 times to Kamara, you can give it 15 to Ingram, and they have more. They have fresher legs.
Yeah.
With Gurley, you got to give him the ball 30 times, and it's a lot, man. And the Saints are going to be keen on him. I like Lattimore, Marcus Williams. He's played better this year. Played great last year up until they played the Vikings. But I mean, I like the Saints defense. I've been saying they've been showing up.
Yeah, and we were talking about how earlier in the season the Rams defense didn't look like it was really showing up, and it's starting to show up later in the season, definitely in the playoffs. I think
Situational defense.
situational defense. Well, even like you said, they kept Zeke
yeah.
to like 40 rush yards. Like that's pretty good. And I think the problem is the Rams offense really hasn't won against a good defense like the Saints. So usually they're used to like scoring quick. Other team gets out there, score quick, get the ball back to the offense. And I think this one's going to be more drawn out game.
Yeah.
And they're just going to.
I don't think it's going to be a
outlast them.
high scoring game.
No.
If I'm predicting a score, I'm gonna say somewhere around 20 to 24.
Which is pretty much right at the over under. So and you picked the
40.
under. So
Yeah.
Enrique, if you're listening, it's not too late to change your pick.
Get the under. Then the other game, we have the Patriots and the Chiefs. I think the craziest stat of this game is that the Patriots are 8 straight divisional championships, going to the 8th
He's like
conference championship.
He's literally like LeBron. He's like LeBron in
straight
football.
conference championship.
8, yeah, which is just ridiculous. And
Dude,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I cannot pick the Chiefs in this game. As much as I want to, I can't. If we're putting money on this, I'll never bet against Brady.
This is like the one of my 2 picks. This is the one I'm the most safe over. Like I feel very comfortable taking the Pats.
Either the Patriots are going to lose by 20 or they're going to win. That's how this game's going to go.
I don't see them losing by 20.
No, I don't either. I think the
either.
Patriots are going to win, but I think the only way that this happens is if the Chiefs get off to a crazy hot start with big plays, but it's going to be -5 degrees.
Everyone keeps talking about the weather and how like it's going to be so cold up there in Arrowhead or whatever. It's going to be freezing over there. Blah blah blah. I feel like the Patriots, the weather isn't going to affect them.
Yeah.
They
they're
play
used to it.
outside. They're used to the cold.
Well, one of the things I was telling to one of my coworkers was, the Patriots are coming in as underdogs. They're wearing these underdog shirts. You don't want to give the Patriots more fuel. Like
which
that
is just
team
ridiculous
is
for them to think that.
Dude, I will say too, like I was looking at Tom Brady's Instagram the other day, and his whole thing is like #still here. Like the dude is on a mission.
And that's the scariest part. You don't want to face off against a pissed off Tom Brady. That's like a pissed off Batman or Superman. You know what I mean? That's a pissed off superhero.
This dude lost the Super Bowl last year. And he is the most competitive dude in the NFL.
And he barely lost the Super Bowl.
Like,
he's
coming back with a vengeance.
And not only do they feel like they're the underdogs, it's a driving factor. I also feel like Brady and Gronk are very close friends. You know what I mean? They're very tight. And I think Brady knows that Gronk wants to walk away from the sport, and he wants him to go out on like a high note.
Yeah.
I don't think Gronk's coming back next year, and I think Brady wants to win for him too. So
yeah, man,
it's a dangerous time.
And Belichick versus Reed, I mean, like how?
Well, if Brady wins 2 more, he'll have won more than any other team has won, like ever.
That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
That is insane.
That's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Don't touch up on that too much though, because I got stat of the day today.
All right. But yeah, I mean, I would love. So, I think it's consensus for us: Saints, Patriots.
That's the game I want to see.
Well, we've seen Belichick, Andy Reid back Eagles, Pats back in the day too.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. I want that matchup.
I want that
matchup so bad. And I know it's crazy because I'm not like I've talked my fair share of crap against the Patriots, but I think this goes so far into looking at the legacy that Drew Brees leaves in the NFL. He has an opportunity. I mean, he's obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, but to put his name up with the Peyton Mannings of the world and the Tom Bradys.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, his 2 Super Bowl championships would have come against Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I mean, it doesn't get much better
than that. And for all the records that he's broken this season, that'd be a great way to finish off that, that chapter of his life. But yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
It'll be a fun little thing. Fun games to watch. A lot of news in MLB. That stove, as they like to call it,
the hot stove. It's cold right now, but
it's starting to heat up. It's not hot, but it's heating up.
Too. Freaking Manny Machado,
my God.
With the White Sox.
That was, what it reminded me of, because we all watched The Office. It was when Michael Scott Paper Company was being bought out, and he goes, "Okay, what's their offer? I deny your first offer." That's literally what it was. 7 years, 125.
Like it was 175. But it averaged out to be like 20. It was less than 30 million a year.
Blasphemous.
The thing that I'm worrying is who came up with this number. So Buster Olney reported it, but like, is this Scott Boras leaking this out? And if so, he's setting the market really low for Manny Machado right now.
Well, I think it's because they originally had talks with him, and it was like a 8-year. 250.
That's what I heard.
That's what I heard too. That was like the original talk kind of thing. And I think maybe they floated that out there informally offer to him. He denied it, and they said, "You know what? Screw it. You're not making a move. This is your only offer. We're going to give you the offer."
I don't think that the sweepstakes for Machado are as good as they are for Harper.
I don't think so. And I think the White Sox put that into perspective. Like, hey,
I think
listen.
the Yankees kind of killed it for Manny Machado.
But by the way, do you guys feel like there is no mystery team? There's this mystery team. I feel like Scott Boras is just kind of throwing that out there to see.
I
if
absolutely
it
agree
sticks.
with you.
It's like
Because if you look at like what the Padres are interested in doing, they don't want to go because that was the main mystery team that they're like established.
everybody's saying.
And the
I mean,
Padres
yeah.
have no interest in Manny Machado.
I mean,
I
they
think
have some interest, but
They have
just
some
not
interest, but it's not like a
But
going
their-
after a
I think
chase.
their
yeah.
interest would be similar to what the White Sox would offer. It's like, hey,
Well-
we're not paying you $30 million a year, man. If you want to come
Yeah.
play with us,
Well, they
you can
have
play
what, like-
third base.
And
And
we'll
what, like
give you
80
7
mil?
years, 175.
They have like 80 million in cash space, the Padres or something like that.
They have. I think they could probably play with like 50, but I don't think they're going to be.
But,
They have the
yeah.
flexibility, but we'll talk Padres in a little bit.
Yeah, but just as a mystery team, I just thought, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think ultimately he does end up with the White Sox, though. I mean, I don't see
One of these guys sounds like they're going to go to the White Sox, and the
Yeah.
White Sox are kind of like the Padres. They're like the American League team of the Padres right now.
They
like,
do. They have a lot of young
Mhm.
talent coming up. I mean, I will say they play in the worst division in the American League, so that's a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
You get to play against the Indians, who they're good. They're a good.
they're
ball
good
club,
right
but
now.
they're
The only
gonna,
good one in that division.
yeah. I mean, other than that, who else you playing? I mean,
Yeah, Tigers are rebuilding.
Yeah,
You have the
it's-
Royals that are rebuilding.
it's a good time to be with the White Sox, but ultimately, that when it comes down to the ALCS, it's Red Sox, Yankees, Astros.
We were
I mean,
saying this last year. They're in the American League Comedy Central. So
yeah. I mean, honestly, like unless you're playing for one of those clubs, your chances of winning a World Series are slim to none.
oh yeah, and I mean, well, you've heard the Padres in talks with Indians quite a bit lately too. With you want to go into that a little bit?
Dude,
Who was it? Sorry.
So
the-
that 3-team trade that's kind of been.
Oh, the Padres one?
love this.
I'm 100% with you on this one.
And I get it. I mean, we're talking about Nick Senzel, who is last time I checked, he
Number
he
6, I thought, right?
3 is the highest he's been, but he's always been a top 10 prospect.
In all of baseball,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just not just for the
Not-
Indians,
Yeah, not
or
the
the
Reds.
Reds. I'm sorry.
I mean, this would be massive. And the Padres would have to give somebody up.
Well, they did give up a couple guys and some prospects.
But I'm okay with that
So-
because of the return.
So what I've heard, which it would be kind of a punch in the stomach, but it would clear our logjam and it would give us some clarity moving forward. But I heard it was Margot, Renfroe, and one of our pitching prospects, like one of our top pitching prospects, like a Chris Paddock.
And,
Yeah, I heard
And
this one.
honestly, like with Myers moving back to the outfield because they've already said, third base experiment's over, Hosmer's at first base. If we give up Margot, we give up Renfroe. Obviously, we're losing an arm in the outfield, and Renfroe's probably going to
Yeah.
hit 30 home runs for the
A
next team
bat.
he plays for.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still have Franchi. They're big on Franmil right now. Like they're huge on him.
He draws more walk. He's the only guy in the team that can draw a walk for some reason.
Yeah. So Franmil, Myers, and Franchi. I like that outfield.
It's not terrible.
No,
It's not.
It's not the word.
And
Yeah.
Franchi
Franchi-
brings more power than Margot will.
Mhm.
Franchi's the only one I'm kind of a little hesitant on, but he's got huge potential. I feel like his potential over Margot's is off the charts.
I think that he's
so raw. He's just a raw talent.
Besides the fact that he doesn't have as good of an arm as Renfroe, he's obviously going to be a left field or center fielder. The bats are similar. Both of them strike out a lot, and both of them have huge power. The biggest thing though is like they need left-handed bats. They do, and Franchi allows them to have another left-handed bat out there. I'm okay with that. And then the fact Nick Senzel in the trade.
Great contact hitter. I was looking at his numbers.
It's
and his-
unreal, man. If you plug that, and look at what our infield would be in the next 2 years.
God,
Nick Senzel, Fernando Tatis, Luis Urias, and Eric Hosmer.
Hosmer. And then either Hedges or Mejia at catcher.
So Mejia, catcher, yeah.
But
I will say, but it also reserve. I mean, if Mejia ends up still staying on a roster, potentially him moving back to the outfield. If Franchi's not playing great or Franmil's not playing great, it allows that flexibility. They just brought back Jankowski, so we have that.
The only reason why I would be a little hesitant is Franchi's a great talent and everything, but I don't feel like he's a true center fielder.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I feel like that would hurt the team is I think they're giving up. I think Manuel Margot is one of the best defensive center field, one of the best.
One of the best, yeah. I put him in the top 10 defensively.
In baseball.
Easily top 10.
And so that's kind of my big thing with it. But
Yeah, and
compared to
Franchi's
what we have
outfield,
right now,
not great. His gloves.
well, and that's
he can't cover as
that's
much
the problem
ground.
is you got Franmil out there who's slow. You got Myers who's out there who's not necessarily the best
He's a deer.
fielder.
Yeah.
And
Gumby.
so you definitely be taking a hit defensively, and I feel like that's not the direction the Padres want to go. Because you look at all their moves have been for like Gold Glovers. They've got Freddie Galvis, who
Well, it's almost
was a
like
gold-
they're taking into the fact that they're not a big contact team, so they got to keep the score low.
Yeah.
You know, like they want to fill up all the gaps that they can.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I don't mind giving up like a top arm. Like I know in the past podcasts we were talking about like our young talent.
Ryan Weathers actually cracked the top 100 too for prospects this year.
Yeah, well, they pretty much, if you're a first round pick, you're like in the top 15, they pretty much pencil you in like the late hundreds.
But you know what I mean?
still.
It's like we have a lot of young arms. If we got to give up one to get a stud,
Well,
basically I'd be okay with any of them besides Gore.
one of the things I was seeing is because MLB comes out with every year they do it twice a year, I think. They update their rankings for their minor league prospects, and they did the left-handed pitchers in the minors. Padres have 4 of the top 10 left-handed pitchers in baseball in their minor system.
yeah, man.
So like they're stacked. It's definitely a lot of pitching prospects coming up through the ranks, and a lot to be excited about. I think this year is you're going to start to see they're going to start winning a little bit more than they have in the last, at least the expectation is.
Yeah. And I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible trade. So, you know, it was a 3-team trade. So it was
Corey Kluber would be going to the Reds because the Reds are looking to get some pitching talent because their Reds are just like the Padres, except I think they think they're further along than we are.
So who would go to who? What are the chess moves?
So I think it would be Kluber would be going to the Reds. Senzel would go to the Padres, and then all those prospects would go over to
The Cleveland Indians.
the Indians, and prospects and major league ready players.
All right.
So they're in it to win it right now. They need some bats. They have no outfield help, and
Well,
they
I
want
mean,
some
they have
prospects to
one
replace.
big hole in their infield. So
But they're also trying to shed some salary because Kluber's making like 16 to 18 million over the next 3
and
years.
the Reds
something
have
like
a
that.
lot of cap space.
Yeah.
I mean, they can eat most of that contract because most of their good players are on younger.
To me, I think right now he's worth his contract, but I'm not sure. You know,
the length of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. A few years from now, he'll be worth it.
It's the same thing with
18
Shields.
million.
When the Padres signed Shields, it was like the dude's already 30 years old. Like
Kluber is a stud, though.
Yeah.
Right now he's a Cy Young caliber pitcher, and I
but
mean,
how many years left of that do we
But
have?
like you said, he's getting up there in age, and
Another
for the
thing,
Padres timeline, that's not really. They've even said it.
You trade him to a team like so he plays for the Indians right now. You play the White Sox. You play.
That's true.
The
The American League is a little harder, though.
Well, no, in that I'm talking about specifically, in that division. You trade him to a team, in the NL East, and you have to go up against the Cubs, the Brewers, the Cardinals, and who's the
NL East or
yeah.
because
No, the NL Central.
Central. Yeah, so it'd be Reds, Cubs. It would be Pirates.
Oh, Pirates is the other one I missed out on. So it was Cubs,
Brewers.
Pirates, Cardinals, Brewers, and then. Damn it.
Reds.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's better bats in those divisions. So I mean.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Certainly, I feel like I don't know.
I feel like the Reds would be getting the worst of it.
I think the Reds are in it to win it right now, which
makes this makes sense with this move.
Yeah, it would make sense for us for sure.
Yeah.
Because we'd be filling an area of need for us because we don't really have. I think Hudson Potts is probably like our best third base prospect we have, but outside of that, I'm kind of like it's a pretty thin position for the Padres as far as minor league talent goes. They don't have anyone in the top 100 which given how good the Padres are, their minor league system is. That's their one position I can look at. I'm like, well, you're pretty thin there. And especially after giving up on Spangenberg and giving up Christian Villanueva and moving Myers back to the outfield, they literally have no third baseman on the roster right now. So they'd have to pull up someone who's got no major league experience and who's not even highly regarded in
Well,
the
it's the
minors.
same issue they had last year, and that's why they ended up trading for frickin' Headley.
Well, they traded for Headley to pick up our boy Brian Mitchell, who actually finished off the year quite well. He's like one of those guys. I feel like his performance at the end of the year kind of got overshadowed a little bit because the team just played so poorly that nobody was tuning in towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, saw this thing on Twitter with Bryce Harper potentially going to, different teams and like where he could go. And they had the MLB The Show release like a simulation for if he went to the NL East. So NL East, it went the Marlins would finish 12 wins better than last season, but they don't make the postseason. The Braves, they don't make the postseason, but Harper has his career RBIs, like sets his career
the
high.
Braves don't make the postseason. They made it last year though. So
He
they
said
got,
it's a simulation.
It's simulation.
It'll be the show.
Yeah.
okay.
It was like the Braves don't make the postseason, but career RBIs. The Phillies, if he went to the Phillies, it would be that they make the postseason and he becomes the MVP. With the Mets, they make the postseason. He sets a career high 44 home runs. And then with the Nationals, they win the NLCS and go to the World Series. So it was like it was a simulation of like where he could go, and I thought that was very interesting that they chose that
the
one.
Nationals.
Not only that, but that he retweeted those teams.
That's pretty funny.
You know what
Bryce
I mean?
Harper retweeted?
Yeah, he retweeted those.
So he wants to go back to the Nats, it sounds like.
Or who knows? I mean, if they have a chance to go to the World Series, could be.
Yeah, man. I mean, they've definitely brought on.
I would love for him to re-sign with the Nats personally.
I think it'd be good for baseball.
Yeah, I like seeing guys stay true to their team, and if they can give him a competitive offer, I'd certainly love him to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see where he goes. I mean, that's the other big one.
One of the things I wanted to bring up too, finish up with the Padres, is I saw Preller was kind of made. I kind of texted you guys this earlier today. Sounds like Preller's open to having Tatis start at third base for us this year.
I saw that. You said that.
Yeah, it was interestingly enough, it was on a Forbes article, which I was surprised. I didn't know they came out with, sports news. But yeah, apparently he's actually considered. It sounds like if they don't land a big fish, he's going to compete for a spot for third base this year. That's what it sounds like.
I would not be surprised if he's called up in October. Or I'm sorry, not October. May, June.
Yeah, so he gets an extra year of eligibility too, but it would still be his rookie season.
Yep.
So, but that would be huge for the Padres.
Yep. Well, and especially if we look at it now, like if we don't have the ability to sign somebody, it's like, all right. And that's what we all want to see. We want to see Fernando Tatis and Urias up there.
I think he's the guy that every Padre fan wants to see.
Yep.
And I hope there's not too much pressure on him because we're all kind of clinging to him as
my thing is like the dude, he's 19 years old right now.
Or he's 20. He just turned 20.
Just turned 20 years old. I mean, he's got plenty of time to turn himself into an elite ball player.
Yeah. No, if he comes out, I remember Bryce Harper's rookie year, he only hit like 15 home runs or something like that. So you don't have to light the world on fire your rookie year.
You just got to give people something to get excited about.
Aaron Judge ruined that for everybody, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, he was also a little older than these guys were when he came out.
But Judge hit, 50 home runs his rookie year? So he set the rookie record for home runs.
Playing with that short-ass porch in freaking New York.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Well, speaking of the Yankees, they signed Adam Ottavino to 3 years, $27 million.
So they're going to have a pretty good bullpen. They
already have like the deepest bullpen in baseball.
But what I'm saying is, once you get to that bullpen, you have all these elite relievers.
Now they just got to go out and sign Bryce Harper.
And I mean, Ottavino is lights out in Colorado.
I feel like you look at the Yankees on paper and you're like, what's wrong? What does this team really need? I mean, they feel like they have some good starting pitchers.
They need to stop playing the Red Sox.
Yeah, they need to stop playing the Red Sox and the Astros.
Well, I was talking to my buddy who's a Yankees fan, and he said that, I was like, what's like the Red Sox literally do everything right. They play the game the way it's supposed to be. They're not lighting the world on fire, hitting a lot of home runs like the Yankees do, or they have their bullpen. I don't think is nearly as good as the Yankees.
Starting pitchers are better.
Starting pitching's
a little better, but
they score more runs.
They play like team ball though.
But they still score more runs.
So like you got to dive into the batting average with runners in scoring position, on base percentage. Those kind of numbers are always going to be higher for the Red Sox right now.
for right now, and that's kind of what puts them ahead.
Yeah.
You can't beat baseball analytics.
Yeah.
It's like film never lies.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll see. But all right, 7:22 right now. We got to start catching our flight pretty soon. Ryan, give us our stat of the day.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, dabba-doo-ba-doo, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop.
All right, this is a fun one. I found this and I was like, all right, sorry guys, I got to steal a stat of the day.
2 weeks in a row.
So, diving back into football, if Tom Brady beats the Chiefs at Arrowhead on Sunday, he will tie Mark Sanchez in career road playoff wins.
That is stupid.
Isn't it though? So think about this from perspective. Brady never plays on the road in playoffs. I mean, division round, like they've won the division however many years in a row. If they make it to the conference finals, generally like they have home field advantage. If they don't, but like, if they don't, they generally don't make it to the Super Bowl. But Mark Sanchez always played on the road.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that funny?
The guy that's won more playoff games than every other person has played. Every other quarterback has played in.
Like he's won more than people have played.
And now he's gonna tie Mark Sanchez for a record for road playoff
Like if
wins.
we were gonna say like Jake Delhomme or something like that, okay, whatever. But Mark Sanchez,
that's ridiculous.
Mr. Butt Fumble himself.
Butt fumble himself.
Butt fumble.
Dude, there's so many ways you can dissect that stat too. It's just like
it's crazy though.
It's crazy.
It's a testament to Mark Sanchez, but there's also at the same time it's a testament to Tom Brady.
The Patriots
too.
just winning and being at home.
Not playing road games.
I know that's the crazy part.
That's what that stat is. Oh, so the Patriots don't play very many home games or road games.
Road games.
Well, it took me a second to process that. I was like,
same here. I was like, wait, how would he set the record?
I was like, that's not good for Tom Brady. But then you're thinking about it, like, well, wait up, they don't play that many road games, so
that's hilarious. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good stat. Very like, thought provoking.
Yeah. Well, all right, everybody, we got a plane to catch. We got to go get blacked out in Vegas. So this is the last thing we'll remember from this weekend. No, I'm just kidding. I got to edit this on the plane. You guys will be listening tomorrow. Everybody listening, thank you so much. Enrique, All Bad Podcast.
The challenge.
The table's set for you guys. Let's go. We will see you guys next week. Later.
See ya.
See ya.